Ceefax, a name manufactured from Seeing Facts, and although the word is as yet unlikely to be a familiar one to the casual window shopper, there isn't much doubt about the interest aroused whenever the 2-year experimental service operated by the BBC has been on public view. Up until now, though, television sets able to receive the new service have been measured in tens rather than hundreds. And so, the corporation's national television headquarters in West London has become the home also of push-button instant information. In a specially built newsroom on the 7th floor, an embryonic Ceefax editorial unit has taken shape under the guidance of a journalist editor, Colin McIntyre. Alongside him, a group of pioneers have started to turn this fledgling into a new form of journalism, which, for all its reliance on electronics and computer technology, takes its base from the old-fashioned written word. Comparison with print doesn't end there. Ceefax sub-editor Ian Morton-Smith.
Like any news service, Ceefax depends largely for its output on news agencies. Here we have a teleprinter from the Press Association, and here we have the BBC's own news service, General News Service at Broadcasting House. The sub-editor, when he wanted to get some news, would tear off the paper and then walk over to the visual display unit, which is simply a television monitor linked electronically to a typewriter keyboard and then onto the computer. And what I'm going to do now is to update the news headlines. So first of all, I have to ask the computer to display the news headlines page. This part at the top here is in fact graphics, which is not displayed on this particular monitor, but it doesn't actually interfere with what I'm going to do. Having done that, I sort out the headline that I'm going to alter. This one is in fact about a fire in Hampshire where hundreds of firemen and soldiers are fighting a blaze that covers 2 square miles of heathland. So first of all, I'm going to change the time, and then I go down and overtype this particular headline. Then I pick out a particular word which is of interest and put it in colour, just to give it a little bit of interest. And then when I've done that, I check through it to make sure I haven't made any mistakes and press the transmit button to tell the computer that the page is now ready to go back into the magazine. And this is what the headlines page looks like on an ordinary domestic television receiver. You can see here that what the graphics look like. Up at the top here we have the page number. This rolling number here is the page which is going through the magazine at any one given moment. And here we have the date and an electronically controlled clock which is from the computer. If we select page 101, we get to the Ceefax index. You can see here we have headlines on page 102, home news on 103, sport, racing, the Financial Times index. And over here we have sub-indices for all the other types of information that Ceefax has to offer. The present output of Ceefax is roughly 50 pages, but we have the facility to go up as high as 100 pages. That 100 pages constitutes what we call a magazine, and we could put out one magazine on BBC One and a totally different magazine on BBC Two. A good example of a Ceefax information page is the air travel news on page 113. Again, we have the slight pause for access time while this running number reaches 113. When that number corresponds with that, the page will appear like that. This is what we call a cycling B page, and here we have 4 sub-pages which appear on a set time scale. These times are preset by the visual display unit operator through the computer. Another example of a Ceefax page is page 115, which is the weather map. And here we can draw a map of Great Britain using our graphics facility. It should be coming up just about now. Here we use different colours for different weather conditions, so you can see at a glance the weather conditions in your area. Another type of Ceefax page is the news flash. We can superimpose important information over the top of a picture, like this. This little box here is constructed on the visual display unit, and then we just type the information into the box and send it out on network. The viewer at home would be able to program his set so that these sorts of news flashes came up automatically, and then when he'd seen them, he just presses a button on this control unit to get it to vanish. A similar sort of page to that is the subtitle page, which again is constructed in the little box at the bottom of the screen, like that. These sort of pages could be used for subtitling for deaf people, or indeed in foreign languages. Ceefax can use up to 6 colours plus white, and also we have a flashing facility, like that. The graphic designs which you've seen so far are made up with shapes like this on a special visual display unit, and all these shapes correspond to letters and to numbers. The graphics which I told you about just now can be made up using this special black and white graphic visual display unit, and simply by typing letters which correspond to graphic shapes, we can build up pictures and words like this. And when I got the design finished completely, I just press a button and punch a tape, which would then be fed into the computer, like that.